what I want to invite you into today is this idea about the story you're telling yourself about change. And I've been looking a lot at this recently. And so if you are in the process of change, if you are here, welcome, welcome. If you'd like to share it, I will get started in a second. But go ahead and share this. Share it with anyone you know, because why? The more that we come together as sort of exploring different possibilities, the more change we can create. The more change we can create, the easier it gets on those of us who might be sensitive to energies, might be sensitive to change, might be sensitive to transformation. It gets easier. The more of us that are committed to doing it, the easier it gets. Yeah, baby. So what we're going to talk about today is the story you're telling yourself about change. So I was listening to, let me see, I wanted to go on Instagram and do this live, but I think if you've been, you know what, I'm going to do it on my other one. I think if you've been on a live, it doesn't let you do it 24 hours in a row. So I'm going to just do it here and see if I can do it. If it'll let me. Okay. We're going to try it. Let's see. So yeah, I love change, and I'm a change junkie. And yet I've really been looking at the areas of my life where, yep, that's not going to work, where I'm not necessarily willing to let go of the story I've been telling myself, because it's more comfortable to have a problem in that area than it is to not have a problem in that area. So if you guys can relate, thumbs up, hearts, whatever. I don't really like how far up this computer is, but we're just going to go with it for today because that's just how it goes. So I'm going to go live on this Instagram and see what happens. So we're live here. Oh yeah. Let's see if this is going to work or not. Live here. There we go. And live there. So how many of you can recognize, yeah, I adore you guys. How many of you can recognize that you are telling yourself a story about change or about what it's going to take to change? Now, I was listening to Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, who has been a friend, a mentor, and probably the reason I am still here today, right? The tools of Access Consciousness, along with Dr. Dane here, who's the co-founder. These two men have been such instrumental just catalysts in my journey on this planet. And, you know, I 7 years ago thought I was happy, thought I had my life figured out. I was married, I was pregnant, I was, you know, in a decent job. I made $50,000+ a year. I had great friends. I thought I had everything figured out. And yet, when I actually sort of peeled back the curtains of what was actually true, there was this underlying sense of I was never going to get to the life that I wanted to have. I was never going to get to the body I wanted to have. I always had this feeling that I was never enough when it came to my body. So if any of you can relate, you look at your life and you think you're happy, but you're happy settling. Right? Most of us have been taught to become happy at settling, right? Settling for the relationship, settling for the money, settling for the business, settling for where we live, settling instead of generating an energy that is so beyond mediocre that you become unrecognizable to those that like to relate to you as having a problem. Can you guys relate? Can any of you relate, right? Is there anywhere in your universe where people really like that you have a problem? They like relating to you as, yeah, I love it. I love it. So please feel free to comment. Please feel free to share if this conversation is inspiring you. The more, the merrier. And so what happens is, as we get involved, I love it. Thank you. I love it. So the more that we become adept and comfortable at standing out, at not being mediocre, at celebrating that we don't have a problem. You know, years ago when I first started on this journey, I used to make a joke with this community of women that I was in, and I was like, I'm going to create a support group for people with no problems. Right? We tend to have support groups based on problems, and yet there aren't necessarily a whole lot of communities, unless you kind of look, unless you maybe have money to invest in a mastermind, there aren't a whole lot of communities that are based on celebrating the joys, the magic, the ease. And so I've been looking at this a lot this week. I am launching today, actually, is our first day for Ditch the Judgments. It's a 15-day challenge. And this is the first time ever we've actually closed the cart at midnight the night before. And, you know, I kind of looked at it like a live class. Like if I was facilitating my 4.5-day live workshops, right, which I do all over the world, I wouldn't let somebody come in day 2 because I know how much change we create day 1. Somebody can't come in day 2 and go, oh, excuse me, I'm coming in late. It would disrupt all of the progress and all the change. And so I decided for the first time ever to do that for my online class and actually create this container where together we go as a group and how far can we go. And so what I've been looking at with this Ditch the Judgments challenge is the stories I've been telling myself about my own body and about my own change. And what I've noticed for myself, and this has been resonating with a lot of people, is that I've been telling myself this story that I didn't even know was there, and I'm saying it probably for the first time live, which is that if I get the body I know is easy for me to have, if I create the body I know is easy for me to have, I have this story that I'll be unstoppable. I have this story that I won't have any problems. I have this story that I can have anything I want. And for some freaking reason, in the subtleties of my unconscious mind, is this idea that that's not fair, that it's not kind, that it's not a contribution, right? Which I'm sorry to say is a little insane, right? Can you guys relate? If you can relate, post in the comments if you've noticed something you've been trying to change about your body, about your weight, maybe about pain, maybe about age. Maybe you've been trying to change your bank account. Maybe you've been trying to change the story you have about the relationships you choose. And I'm not just talking intimate relationships, because the reality is that we tend to choose similar energies, whether it's people that work with us, whether it's, staff, whether it's relationships, whether it's intimate others, whether it's people who we have as mentors. We tend to, hopefully mentors are the ones that encourage you into the greatness you are. If they're not, and it's heavy to work with them, let them go. Okay. I recently had an experience where I let someone go, and it was heavy for a long time. And the lightness that it's created, I didn't want to let them go. Why? Because I like them. Why? Because I just had this like, oh, maybe this is the struggle is just how it goes. Maybe this is supposed to be harder than I thought it was supposed to be. But the reality is, if it starts to get heavy, ask yourself some questions, right? And so here I am relating to myself and the change I say I want. Okay, I hope you guys get this. The change I say I want, if it's not ease to get me there, if it's not fun, if it's not quick, if it's not ease to get me there, if it feels like it's a struggle to choose it. Now, if you need to lose 50 pounds, it can be easy, but you may have to do some hard things, right? Les Brown, I listen to him a lot, and he says, and actually I make my son sometimes listen to motivational videos and inspirational videos. And I always say to him, please come back after you've watched this with one aha or one thing you learned from that video. And it was just like in the very beginning, and he came up to me, he said, Mommy, here's what I've discovered. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard, right? This is a quote from Les Brown. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So if you need to lose 50 pounds, it isn't always easy to look at the choices. It isn't always easy to get up off the couch and instead of putting on Netflix or binge watching TV or crying in your bed with a pint of ice cream, actually making a different choice, putting on your sneakers and going for a walk, that isn't always easy. The physical part of it is usually easy. It's the mental and emotional part of creating the change. Yeah, exactly. That is actually really hard. Oh, I love your hearts. Thank you, darling. So, my friends, here is the deal, is what story are you telling yourself about change? And I was listening to Gary Douglas, and here's what he said to me. He said it on a call, so it wasn't directly to me. It was to lots of people. And he said, most people relate to the concept of change that if they're going to change, they're going to lose something. And I was like, oh my God, that's so right. And so what we do is we prepare emotionally, we prepare energetically, right, for what we think we're going to lose. Maybe we're going to lose a relationship. Maybe we're going to lose a friendship. And so we almost will stall on taking action on the physical thing we need to do to change, which is actually really easy. It is easy. Okay. It is easy to put on tennis shoes and go for a walk. It is hard to emotionally get past the roadblocks that are you telling yourself the story that you're not enough, right? It's easy to get a paycheck. It is hard, right, for some people to imagine creating a savings that's more money than they earn in a month. A lot of people, in fact, I think it's like 50% of Americans do not have a savings account. And if they do, they're using it every month to dive in and dig in to pay for expenses because they've tricked their brains that they have the money rather than tricking their brains that they don't and saving more. Right? Is this crazy or what? I love it. Hello, Anna Marie. Yay. Welcome, welcome. So as you guys are looking at this, what story are you telling yourself about change? And so I love you, sweetness. So here is what he said, that most people, when they go to create change, they are relating to change as loss rather than relating to change as possibility. So I don't know, I have a lot of people in my life that have gone through losing weight and their life gets better until they've decided that it's uncomfortable and the people in their lives are not supporting their change. So they'll gain weight to fit back in and go back to it being uncomfortable, being uncomfortable with the extra few pounds, right? I know people who have lost or change their relationships for the better. So maybe they've stayed in their marriage and they've committed to a different type of intimacy and a different type of communication and a different type of relating, and they get in there and they, they change it. But over time, it's uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar to not have a problem, to develop a new habit, to do it in a different way. And so people will go back to the fight, back to the struggle, back to the story that they have a problem with each other, that their relationship is hard. And people who leave relationships, right, and they go, this next one's going to be different. How many of you, I have to say, I am very guilty of this one. How many of you are like, next time I'm going to choose a different relationship, and you go into the relationship and you're like, oh my God, You go into a new relationship after leaving an old relationship, and you realize that the new relationship is the same energy. Ooh, baby, any of you done that? That the new relationship that you're so convinced is different than the old one is the same pattern, the same underlying energies, the same communication gaps, the same things that you're letting slide. The reason you left the relationship in the first place, all of a sudden you get in a new relationship and you realize you're just with a different one, different color hair, different color features, different job, right? But same freaking energy. Anyone guilty of that? Awesome. Jennifer says, thank you for contributing to my life. You are so welcome. Thanks for being here. You know, I'm committing to change because I've been asking for something different. And the no judgment diet has been such a transformational platform for me personally, but I'm watching people, as the more I talk, the more I'm willing to put myself out there, I'm watching people change their entire realities, right? Change their entire lives. And that to me is like the meat and potatoes of possibility. And so here's the deal, my friends, is change equals possibility. And so what have you decided? Just take a look at this, right? And we're going to explore this way more in the challenge. If you're like, damn, I missed the deadline, Katherine, I really want to be a part of your challenge, you can still go to the link, right? There's two ways to join. You can still go to the link and hit, and it'll take you to a different page that says, please notify me next time you open up the challenge, which we will do another one. I don't know that we'll do it at the same price, but we'll do another one. Or the other way you can join is next week, a week from today, next Monday, I am doing a live call, which I'm so excited about. It's translated in 7 different languages. So it's going to be translated in French, Spanish, Portuguese, Polish, Serbian, Croatian, Romanian, and Hungarian. How freaking cool is that? And obviously it'll be in English, but we're going to basically dive into what's possible with creating change with your body that you've never before considered. So you can do that. We will post the links once I'm done going live. I'll post the 2 different links. So if you missed signing up for the challenge this time and you want to join us next time we open the doors, we will send out an email. Yeah, baby, I love you. And then next Monday, if you want to join us for 7 different languages, translated in 7 different languages, a live Zoom. It'll be live, right? It's not pre-recorded. I got a haircut and I'm not licking my bangs. Spock pod. Change. So what I want to do is invite you to consider the possibility if you were functioning from the idea that change equals possibility instead of change equals loss, right? So what if changing your relationships didn't mean you were losing relationships, but you were gaining the life you've always been asking for? What if changing your relationship to your body, I didn't say weight. Notice I didn't say, I'm saying changing your relationship to how you see yourself when you look in the mirror, changing your relationship to your body, changing your relationship to when you wake up in the morning and instead of going, oh, I don't fit into my clothes, opening up your closet, because if you're a woman like me, we usually have anywhere from 2 to 5, dare I say 6 different sizes of clothes in our closet. Opening up your closet, instead of listening with your head, what clothes should I wear? Asking your body, what clothes will make you feel sexy? Yeah, right? What clothes would make you feel alive? What outfit would create you feeling like $1,000,000? So recently was listening to Gary and he was talking about if you were dressing for the relationship you'd like to have in your life, how would you dress? Would you dress yourself down? Would you dress to contribute to your partner? Would you dress to create more money? Would you dress to allow people to contribute more to you? And what is that? Right? And so there's all of these. Oh, yeah, I love it. Adriana says, this is awesome. Looking forward to more. So I will post in the comments. I'm not going to do it right now. But I'll put, otherwise I'm too autistic and I get distracted very easily. I'll post in the comments on Facebook Live. And if you're on Instagram, please feel free to go to No Judgment Diet on Facebook, like us. I do a lot of these. We put the links usually in the Facebook Live, not always on Instagram. I don't yet have that capacity. Then I'd be like really autistic. So if you want the links and what we're talking about, please feel free to go on No Judgment Diet. It's a business page on Facebook at No Judgment Diet, no E in judge, right? So the American version is to put the E in judge, the Australian and English dictionary, Oxford dictionary version is to have no E. And people are always like, are you spelling it right? I spell it both ways, but No Judgment without the E, diet. Find us on Facebook. We'll put the links on. So what is it, my friends, that you've actually been wanting to change, but your story is if you change it, you're going to lose something? Instead of asking and looking at, what are you going to gain? What are you going to gain by the change? What new energies, what new relationships, what new clothes, what new financial reality are you going to gain if you go through the change? Right? And that's what we need to look at, is so often we are spending all of our emotional energy and all of our energetic energy on, let's say you need to lose 50 pounds. And let's say maybe you went through a death. Maybe you lost your husband. Maybe you lost your wife. Maybe like life isn't going the way as planned. Maybe you had to file for bankruptcy. Maybe you had a hardship and you used food to cope. Most of people on the planet that I know at some point use eating as a way to cope, right? Use alcohol as a way to cope, use drugs as a way to cope. We use sex as a way to cope. So what you can do is look at, okay, I want to lose these 50 pounds. The action of putting on tennis shoes and walking out the door is as easy as putting on your work shoes and walking out the door. And yet somewhere we play this emotional and psychological game with ourselves about what we're going to lose. And look, I'm saying this, I don't even think it's conscious, you guys. I think it's an unconscious relationship that we have with change, where we're already preparing ourselves for what we're going to lose. And that takes a toll and makes it harder to act on the choice that's going to create the change. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Can I get a thumbs up or hallelujah if I'm making sense, right? Is like, if you want to make more money in your business, or you want to leave your full-time job and start to become an entrepreneur, right? It's not the act that's hard. It's the emotional, energetic story we're telling ourselves, that getting over that story is actually harder than just making the choice. I love it. You guys are amazing. Thanks for the thumbs up and the hearts and the smiley faces. I gotta say, Instagram has Facebook beat when it comes to emoji cons. I love you guys. Yeah. And so what if the story that you're telling yourself isn't actually the real story, right? What do I mean by that? So I'm going to tell you a little story. I actually don't know what story I'm going to tell, but I'm going to make up one. Okay, so, aha, here's one. And this is a good one because it's like relative right now for me, right? So I have had this story for a very long time. I don't have time to build the business, be a single mom, like take care of everything, help my company grow, contribute to my staff. And here's the story, and take care of the books, and do the financial bookkeeping. So because I've had that story, what do you think is happening? And what do you think up until last week was happening with my finances? Not as much ease as I would have liked, right? And so when I discovered a few weeks ago that I was losing money in places I wasn't willing to look at, I made this demand that I'm no longer going to tell myself the story that I don't have time to take care of my books. The new story I'm telling myself, I don't not have time. Taking care of my books is a complete, it's a priority now, right? Because if I want more money, if I want more ease, if I want more of everything in my life, and I want to keep investing money back in the business, keep investing money in places that will make my money grow, then I need to tell myself a very different story about my money flows. Yeah. And so for some reason, I had this unconscious story going that I didn't have time. So if I took care of my finances, if I got really clear on my books, if I got really clear on my accounting, that it would take away from growing the business. But here's what's happened in the last couple of years. I've stayed at the same level, which is great. Nothing wrong with it. But it's not where I want to go. And it's not the possibilities I know are possible. Because here's what I know. The more I'm willing to put myself out there and be the change, the more people whose lives change, right? Jim Rohn says, if you want to be a millionaire, change a million lives, right? And I might be paraphrasing, but he has said that, and a lot of speakers say this, a lot of people on the planet, the way to create wealth is to impact change, to inspire others, to impact, to contribute to the world. And, we've seen stories of like Tom's shoes, right? Where their tagline is 1 for 1. So you buy a pair of Tom's shoes and they outfit somebody in the world who can't afford to buy a pair of shoes, right? Pencils for Promise, right? People, they use that money to fund people in different parts of the world getting the school supplies that they need to create a better education, right? Pretty cool. So what I want to invite you to consider today is, what story are you telling yourself about the loss you think you're going to experience? So with my financial reality, the loss I thought I was going to experience is I thought I was going to experience a business loss. I thought I was going to experience a time loss. I thought I was going to experience more struggle. But actually what's happening is I commit to unearthing, unwinding, unblinding myself to my finances. The business is actually growing and things are creating themselves as if by ease. And what I was looking at is everywhere that I was spending money and putting money in other people's pockets based on the promise that they were delivering to me, that actually didn't match the energy of what I knew I could create and what I knew the business could create. Does that make sense? You guys with me? Okay. So whether it's your pocketbook, whether it's your children, whether it's your business, whether it's your current job, whether it's your story with your car, whether it's your story with your body or pain or weight, or if you're struggling with your body and your health, whatever story that is, right? Yeah, baby, getting this? Are you getting it? All right, love it. So, my friends, what story today are you willing? And if this is inspiring you, I would ask you to share. Press on the share button. Let people know we're here, right? Maybe you can share it after we're live. The more that you share, the more people it can inspire, the more people it impacts, and the more ease we have, because when people have these tools, they have this information, they have these resources, then it makes our lives easier, because the more people we have thinking about possibility, the more we can encourage the joy, the magic, the ease of change, instead of hide. So have any of you ever had the experience of maybe you ran into some money, maybe you got an inheritance, maybe you grew your business and you started making more money than you've ever made before, and have you noticed that you tried to hide it or make it a secret because you were afraid that if you told other people, they might come after you for your money, they might hate you, they might judge you, they might be upset, they might separate from you, or they might be using you or trying to be in friendship with you for all the wrong reasons, right? Totally freaking insane. Insane in the brain. That's right, my friends. Insane in the brain. So what if, and what would the world look like? This is my target for the No Judgment Diet, is what would the world look like with 10 million bodies on the planet out of judgment? So somebody says they just won $10 million. We celebrate instead of, why didn't it happen to me? Somebody says they lost 25 pounds and married the love of their life. We celebrate instead of, why didn't it happen to me? Right? So what else is possible? Baby. So my friends, really, truly, if this conversation inspired you, please share it. Please post it. Please make a comment. You can like the No Judgment Diet page if you're not already. You can like this if you'd like on Instagram. And yeah, just wanted to say thanks for being here. Ah, yum, yum, says Kimmy. Amen. And so I will post a link for those of you just joining. I have a free call coming up next week. It's translated into 7 different languages, and we would love your help spreading the word. So we'll post the link if you know anybody in another language that would like to just get some more information on some tools that will help create the change. Yeah, baby, right? We'll post it in the Facebook group. You can certainly, please feel free to share. Please feel free to post it. Please feel free to comment. Please feel free to tag somebody you know and might be in another country, but it'll be a free Zoom, right? For and we're doing a series actually after, which is 3 more calls after that, only for $20. And it's kind of a steal, you guys. What we're going to do is dive into what's possible with the body, what's possible with attracting money, what's possible with attracting relationships, what's possible with changing the way you relate to your story so you can actually have a different future. So that's all I got for you today. If this inspired you, thank you for being here. Give it a like. Feel free to share. I adore you guys. What else is possible? I'll post that link. I'll also post the link to the Ditch the Judgments Challenge. We closed the doors actually last night at midnight. But if you would like to be notified as the next 15-day challenge, we'll post a link on that as well. So my magical, amazing, beautiful, courageous friends, you are so welcome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, my teeth look yellow on Instagram. On Facebook, they don't. Instagram, you got to figure it out. No judgment, right? No judgment. So I adore you guys. Please feel free to, yeah, just post how did this video contribute to you, and what is possible, and what change have you been asking for that if you saw change as a possibility instead of a problem, you'd have a lot more ease getting over the hump. They look neon. Oh, Kimya, I love you, darling. I'm sending you and your body sweetness, sweetness, sweetness. What magic can you create? And I wonder, yeah, maybe PM me. What can I contribute to you? So I adore you guys. We'll see you next time. I'll actually be here tomorrow, noon Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central European Time. I don't know what topic I'll talk about tomorrow, but if you have a special topic you'd like me to talk about, please feel free to post in the comments or send a private message, and away we go to the magic energy of the universe. Bye for now, my friends, and I'll see you on the flip side.